The only thing heartbreaking about this movie is the fact that it was made.
Yeah.
Hello there, soulmates. My name's Soulkeeper.
And I'm Astrid.
And welcome back to another unfortunate case of movie. This time we watched The Heartbreak Kid, the remake with Ben Stiller and Malene Ackerman, and also starring Michelle Monaghan.
It's a remake?
Yes, it's a remake of a movie from 1972.
Did it have the same plot in 1972?
More or less, but I think it was more of a drama. Yeah, it was a little bit more of a drama than this one was.
Wow.
Yeah, that blows your mind, doesn't it?
They made this movie twice.
Yeah, they made it twice, and they thought they could do better this time around. This one was directed by the Farrelly brothers.
I was about to say, were they both directed by men?
Yeah, of course they were directed by men. This one was directed by the guys that did There's Something About Mary. And also Dumb and Dumber and Kingpin and Me, Myself, and Irene. Shallow Hal, Stuck on You. They've done all those movies. So this is just the one they did back in 2007.
Leave it to men to twice write the movie about, hey man, I didn't want to get married. My friends told me to do it. I knew it was going to be a bad idea.
Oh man, did you see my ball and chain today?
Right?
The old battle axe.
Just have some balls and tell your friends why you don't want to get married.
Ugh.
And find somebody who doesn't want to get married.
I think that was really the takeaway from this, is that don't get married if you don't really want to, big guy.
Right? Wow.
Well, let's talk about what we thought this movie was going to be. What did you think this movie was going to be when I brought it up to you? Because you really didn't want to watch it.
No, so Soulkeeper kept insisting that we watch this movie. And I was really resisting because he's like, well, it's a comedy, but I don't know that it's really funny because it's about a guy who cheats on his wife on their honeymoon. And I was like, well, that doesn't sound fun at all. Put me down for a no thank you. And so I avoided it for what, like a week?
So naturally, I insisted.
Yeah. So I was expecting him to cheat on his wife on their honeymoon. And like, I guess he kind of did, but they never had sex. So it's like they met and I'm like, ooh, this is gonna be her. And I'm thinking they're gonna go up to their room and fuck. And they didn't.
Yeah, I know. It was more like emotional cheating than anything, which, whatever.
I mean, yeah, like, not great, and definitely a sign that you probably shouldn't have gotten married,
Yeah.
but, like, not cheating. That's not cheating with a capital C.
Even cheating is a lowercase c if you're eating. Because eating ain't cheating.
I do have a friend that says that.
Yep.
What'd you think this movie was going to be?
Well, I didn't see it in theaters or anything. I saw a while after it came out. Actually, I think I saw it sometime while I was in college and the RA was watching in his room, so I just came over to his room and watched it. And, I didn't really know what to expect. I thought that maybe this was going to be kind of a really ridiculous comedy, sort of in the vein of Zoolander, and it turned out to be a lot more serious than some of Ben Stiller's other ridiculous movies, because, I'm used to seeing Ben Stiller in movies like Dodgeball and, Zoolander again, and stuff like that, but to see him doing a more dramatic role like this, which, I use dramatic very loosely here.
Yeah. This is more like him in Meet the Parents.
Yes, that's what this felt like. I watched it and I was kind of watching it with kind of scrunched eyes going, I don't know how I feel about this movie. And at the very end of it, I said, this wasn't very good at all. Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't love it and I didn't hate it, but after I watched it again, I still kind of feel that way. It's one of those movies that I don't really hate, but it's also, I recognize the fact that it's pretty crap.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch it again, but it was not nearly as bad as I was expecting it to be.
Like, there are movies that are just spectacular train wrecks that we watch. Like, for instance, the movie Just Friends was just an absolute train wreck of a movie.
Yeah.
And I watched that movie probably a dozen times because it was just so hard to take my eyes off of this damn train wreck.
Yeah.
But The Heartbreak Kid, it didn't have enough beats to keep it interesting like that. And it didn't have enough wild shit happening to keep me to keep me interested and hold my interest, and it was too long for what it was.
Honestly, I think this movie's biggest problem is it tried to split itself between those two worlds. It was trying to be, it didn't lean hard enough into being a comedy, and it didn't lean hard enough into being a, like, romance, you know, discovering yourself movie.
Yeah. It really should have just doubled down on all the slapsticky bullshit.
Yes, because those were my favorite parts. They were more compelling and much, like, more enjoyable. Then I'm sorry. I mean, you made a good movie. You made an okay movie.
Let's not go too far. It wasn't good.
I mean, it was competent. It was a competent movie. I could follow it. So at this point, that's where I set the bar on good. Thanks to you, you've done that.
Yeah, I've really lowered the bar as far as our cinematic fare goes. We've watched a lot of shit, and a lot of it's been really bad.
If I were grading this movie gets a C-.
Yeah, I'd say it's about fair.
Maybe a C. A C if you're otherwise also a good student.
Well, why don't we go on what this movie actually was now? Now, we're introduced right off the bat to Ben Stiller's dad, Jerry Stiller, who plays his dad in the movie, obviously.
Yes.
And his dad is gotta be one of the most compelling characters in the movie that we never really see, because he's asking his son right at the beginning of the movie, so, tell me about the pussy you're crushing and stuff like that.
Yes, he was vulgar from the very beginning.
Yeah, he was really laying it on thick, and I loved it. It really set the tone for what I pictured this movie was going to be. I was expecting more of this crazy, vulgar Ben Stiller bullshit.
Right, and I was expecting it. I wonder if it's a little bit of why Ben Stiller's character was so repressed.
Oh, yeah, probably. Ben Stiller's character looks like he didn't want anything to do with his dad.
Right. It reminds me a little bit, I mean, my great-grandmother wasn't lewd, but it reminds me a little bit of, like, my great-grandmother was, like, an illegal tango dancer, and then my grandma was a nun.
Mm-hmm.
Different strokes for different folks.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's what they got going on, but, man... And his dad, he's like, are you crushing any pussy? What are you doing for... He's real concerned about his son's pussy to the point where his son points it out. Because he's like, let's go to Vegas and we'll tag team some broads.
Yeah, he says he wants to do that. And then his son, Eddie, says, as tempting as going to Vegas with my 77-year-old father is, I think I'm going to pass.
Right?
As would any sane person who doesn't want to, bang a couple of girls with their dad.
Right? And, like, men, they write women characters terribly, but they wrote this old man spot on because every lady knows a lewd old man who tries to pick them up when we're way out of their league.
Hey, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You never know. You could hit one time, and one's all you need.
Maybe.
You just gotta hit one, guys.
Yeah. So they always shoot their shot.
Yeah.
And the older they are, the less they care.
Well, they don't have time to care.
Right? Anyway, so he is extremely well written. I enjoyed him, and I agree he should have been on screen more.
Yeah, he only showed up maybe like a handful of times throughout the whole movie. He shows up a lot in the beginning, all right? Mm-hmm. He's in almost every other scene in the beginning. And at the very end, he shows up like twice, but in the middle of the movie, he only shows up once.
Yeah.
And you think that maybe, Eddie would be calling him a couple of times while he's on vacation in Mexico with his wife, Lila, but he only calls him the once to bitch about Lila, and Doc tells him to man up.
Right? You'd think maybe he'd have... Well, actually, we'll get there. We'll get there later.
Well, anyway, Eddie decides he's going to go to his ex's wedding, which his dad is not a big fan of.
Yeah, because it's dumb. Why would you do that? Why would you want to do that to yourself?
Why would you want to go to a wedding of someone that you went out with for 5 years, and then suddenly she's inviting you to the wedding, and he gets there and he finds out he's seated at the kids' table, which... As soon as you see that, why wouldn't you just walk out? Why would you sit there and take it?
Right, because then they're like, oh, it's actually the singles table. So it's like, great. So you're calling me a child because I'm single.
Yes, that is the implication.
Like, fuck you.
And then her father has the nerve to say, I've hated every asshole she's ever gone out with.
Right? They just keep jabbing at him for, like, all the speeches.
And you know what? Eddie should have had some self-respect, thrown his arms up and said, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going.
Right? I don't need to take this. He should have gone to the gift table and taken what he wanted and then left.
You should have trashed the place.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, trash the place.
Be discreet, take what you want, and leave.
Knock over all the food, man.
Okay, so Soulkeeper wants to make a point more than he wants free stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you can still take the presents, but knock over some shit.
Yeah, but if you knock over a bunch of shit, they're going to be looking at stuff to see who knocked over the shit, and then they're going to see what's missing. If you take a present before they've opened it, they don't know what they're missing, they're never going to look for you.
All right. Fine. Don't
play a long con.
Don't break everything. Just go to the gift table and take what you want.
Why do you say it like you're winking?
Wink, wink, wink. Pick a big one.
Wow.
Pick the biggest one.
Wow.
Something that looks real expensive by the size of it.
Pick like the third biggest one. You pick the biggest one again. They might notice.
Well, they're never gonna know.
Take like the third biggest one and like 3 or 4 of the smallest ones.
Okay. Well, right after, this wedding, Eddie's just walking down the street minding his own business and he meets his eventual wife, Lila.
Oh, yeah.
You forgot Lila?
She's getting... No, it's the way that they met that I forgot. She's getting mugged. Well, he thinks she's getting mugged.
Yeah, he thinks she's getting mugged. By all appearances, she's getting mugged.
Yes. And he tries to stop the guy. He's like a bicycle thief. And, like, these are a thing. I went somewhere where I was warned about them. They're like, wear your purse cross-strap because there's people who ride by on their little motorbikes and they snatch your purse off and they'll just cut the strap.
Yeah.
So, hold on to it. But, so he's trying to stop him. He's like, just give it back. And the guy's like, why are you involved? This doesn't involve you. And he's like, well, I'm looking at it, and now I'm here, and I'm holding on to you. So just let go of the purse. So the guy sprays him in the face with perfume and takes the purse and leaves.
The guy's just screaming incoherent gibberish, going, it's mine! It's mine!
Right? So then he's like helping her pick up her laundry because she had a laundry basket that she dropped when he stole her purse. And he like stops and he's holding her panties and looking at them.
Oh, yeah. Some nice David Bowie panties.
No, a different pair. He was just looking at them, I thought. And then she takes them, and he's like, oh, these are nice. I thought there were 2 pairs, because then there was also the pair that she forgot on the street.
Well, I know, but who cares?
Well, because...
Who gives a shit that he was looking at the first pair of panties?
Because he was staring at those in front of her.
So what?
So the other pair...
They're irrelevant to the plot.
I mean, I would have been a little weirded out if I'm looking at a guy staring at my panties.
Well, she obviously was into it.
I know. It says something about Lila. Can I say what I was going to say?
She left her panties behind for him to find.
A second pair. We don't know that she left those ones behind.
She left the panties behind. We know she did.
What she did was show up to his work that she knew that he had.
Yeah, and then she didn't bat an eye when her father brought up, or when Eddie's father brought up, that they had her panties.
And have been talking about them all week, and that's what's weird and really sets the tone for what kind of person Lila is. He's just blinded by pussy.
Oh, yes.
And like they haven't had sex yet.
No, they didn't have sex for the entire time they did it. They went on a big whirlwind romance, and then they got married after 6 weeks, right?
Right.
And they went on their big honeymoon down to Mexico, where it lasts all about, I don't know, a day before he meets Miranda.
Yeah, because as soon as they're married and they have sex, they realize they are super incompatible.
And the thing is, they realize that they're super incompatible on the way to Mexico. Because of that entire 6 weeks that they spent together, they were just kissing and, holding hands and riding bikes and totally pink clouding. For this entire 6 weeks where they didn't realize any of each other's flaws. Yep. They didn't have sex. They didn't do hardly anything else besides kiss.
Yeah, so they're just still full of anticipation.
So Lila springs on him that she's got to go move to this place in like Holland or some bullshit because her environmental group that she, quote unquote, works for wants her to go there. And they don't move married couples, which spurs Eddie to the bright idea to get married.
Yes, his friends coax him into it. They're like, oh, and they've got all these horrible death metaphors. Like, oh, why don't you just pull the trigger? Why don't you just take the plunge? And it's like, what am I? A gun? Or getting shot? What am I? Drowning after a high drop off of a bridge? Why are they all death metaphors?
Because getting married is akin to dying.
And like that's the married guy telling him to go ahead and get married.
Happy wife, happy life.
Right?
Just get on that death train and ride it all the way down to the end of the line, buddy.
Yup. So he marries her, stupidly, before they really know each other. And then all of a sudden, as soon as they spend any appreciable amount of time together, and, you know, they start to realize, like, oh, we annoy each other sometimes. And they never decided if they annoy each other too much.
Holy shit. Lila sings in the car the entire damn trip to Mexico.
Yeah. And, like, he loves David Bowie. So at first he's, like, excited because they're singing David Bowie together. But after, like, 3 or 4 days of singing loudly in the car, he's like, maybe we just enjoy the way that the air sounds for a while.
Well, let's put this in perspective here. She knows the lyrics to every fucking song that plays.
Yes.
Every song.
Yes, she might have more time on her hands than he does.
Yes, maybe. I don't know what she does for, like, money or anything. She's not getting paid from her job, by the way. That's not happening. So where she's getting her money from, I have no idea.
Oh, I don't think she's getting... I mean, I think her parents might help her, but I don't think she's getting money from anywhere because she's $26,000 in debt.
Yes, there is that.
And it doesn't appear to be from school. It appears to be from blow.
That's a lot of blow.
That is so much blow. That sounds like blow and maybe also some gambling or some theft.
That's so much blow that Rick James would bat an eye.
That's years of blow. It takes years of blow to work up $26,000 in debt and also rot out your septum.
Jesus Christ.
Because she says she has a deviated septum, but really it's that she has no septum. So when she drinks water through a straw, it falls back out her nostrils.
Everything goes back out through her nostrils. Liquids, meat, pills.
Yeah, she tries to take a pill, and when she sips the water, it comes back out her nose, and then it got stuck.
And then Eddie had to pull them out with a pair of tweezers.
He's like, oh, this is like operation.
Which, she makes a joke about inappropriately while he's digging around her nose.
Right? Yeah, maybe don't make me flinch. That's like making your tattoo artist flinch.
Maybe don't do that.
It'll go badly. You'll regret it.
Yeah. So, they don't really know each other. As soon as they get to Mexico and after they've had sex for the first time, Eddie's kind of in the moment of realization that, oh shit, I've made a terrible mistake.
They're super incompatible sexually. She has an extreme fetish, and he is real vanilla.
Oh yeah, he's a missionary guy, and she's more of a pile driver girl.
Yeah. She likes to, like, scream obscenities. And she wants to try, like, every position except missionary. She knows them all by name except missionary. I feel like she's probably using every hole but the vagina.
You think she made Eddie do butt stuff?
I think she might have been making Eddie do all butt stuff.
Oh, that's kind of rock and roll. All right.
I mean...
That's pretty cool.
I get the impression that that's the kind of girl she is.
All right. Well, what the hell's Eddie's problem then?
Am I wrong?
Eddie needs to loosen up, man. Just saying.
Get at least as loose as our girl Lila is.
Yeah, get loose like her butthole.
Right?
Woo!
Oh, man. And also, she's like, I get they never actually confirm it, but I definitely get the impression that she's younger than him. Because she, like, is a little bit... She definitely doesn't seem as wise.
She's naive, she's dumb.
Yeah. Like, she can't do math. She, like, argues with him. Like, they're vacationing at Cabo.
Yeah.
And they're on the beach. And she's putting on, like, baby oil or something. And he's like, whoa, sun's different here. You really want to put on at least SPF 30, 40, something like that? And she's like, no, sun is sun. And she starts putting on more baby oil.
He keeps warning her that the sun's a lot stronger down here, babe.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to hear any of it because she's a child.
Right?
So she puts on her oil,
right?
does it herself because Eddie's not going to do it.
And I'm like, oh no, I know what's going to happen because I have a friend who did this. I've had this argument in real life. So it's like, this thing seems ridiculous.
It's not even that, like, it's ridiculous. It's just something that actually happens. People think that they're going to go down to Cabo and get some awesome sun. And to quote Lila here, get savage.
Oh, God, that was so racist.
I know. She says a few racist things in this movie. It's kind of, wow. You hear them and you go, whoa, that's from 2007.
Right.
Holy shit.
Right. Wow. Yeah. So what happens to her is basically what happens to my friend. My friend actually wound up in the hospital after doing this.
Yeah, she got burned worse than Lila did.
She got burned even worse than Lila. Lila actually looks like she should have gone to the hospital.
You know, considering all the blistering that she got after the fact, she probably should have.
Yeah, considering the amount of blistering she had and the amount of skin that she was covering, she probably should have gone to the hospital.
It looked like some of it was just literally like peeling off.
Right. She was in Mexico. My friend was not in Mexico, but she was laying on something black to attract more sun, and then she had the baby oil.
God, that's just a succession of bad decisions, huh?
Yeah, and then she fell asleep.
Oh,
that's what happened. That's what happened to my friend.
Like 3 in a row.
Yeah.
3 bad decisions.
Yeah, so she wound up in the hospital.
Oh my God.
With like 2nd-degree burns.
That's incredible.
Deep second.
Jesus Christ. So your friend is just as stupid as Lila.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, Lila looks so bad that for the entire rest of the movie, her sunburn was very evident. Even when her and Eddie break up, she's still displaying blisters across her face and her hands and stuff.
Yeah, the thing about sunburn is it gets worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
So it's like she gets, off the beach and at first she's just red. She's like, oh no. And then she starts peeling and she gets more red. And then she gets the blisters. And then she's like obviously in extreme pain for an extended period of time. And it's just making her even worse to be around. Mm-hmm. She doesn't want to be around him because she feels ugly and he's her new husband.
It's unclear how long they're in Mexico, but I'm getting the vibe that they're down there for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 weeks.
The vibe that I got was that they were going to be down there for at least a week and that they might have had an open-ended ticket and that's why there's this character called, was it Uncle Tito?
Yeah.
Uncle Tito, who his friend knows because his friend, every time he goes down there, brings him porn, his friend that convinced him to get married. Mm-hmm. And then in return, Uncle Tito treats them, quote-unquote, really well. So I think they were down there open-ended for as long as Uncle Tito is making them feel welcome, and then they can peace out when they're done.
Mm-hmm. All right. So...
Because also, he's thinking that they both have money now. He's thinking now we're a 2-income household, and he owns a sports emporium, so he makes decent money. And he's thinking she's got the kind of money where they send her to Germany, but actually she's a volunteer and has $26,000 in debt. So I think
2 important things that he really needed to know before he got married.
How do you not talk about what kind of debt you have? Debt, medical problems, parents, siblings.
This is what happens when you jump into a marriage after 6 weeks.
Right?
Holy shit.
When you get married, you marry 2 other things. You marry their debt and you marry their family.
Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, don't I know.
Right?
Well, while they're down there, guess what? He meets another girl that he likes a lot better.
Yes.
And he meets her pretty quickly, too, literally the first day. Actually, moments after they get there, because she sees the porno tape that he's handing Uncle Tito.
Yes! And so she's like, okay, homeboy, you're here to watch some porn. You came all the way to Mexico to watch, what was the title of that porn?
Oh, I don't remember. It was just some generic porno tape.
Yeah. It was one of them punny pornos.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was. It's not that important, but... Point is, she kind of just blew it off I don't care that much. It's just a porn tape. Whatever.
Yeah. And she's there with this, guy that I've only seen playing, low-class rednecks.
You mean Danny McBride?
Yes! I love him.
Danny McBride as Martin, Miranda's cousin. He hates Eddie.
Yes.
Hates him.
Yes, because Eddie obviously has a thing for Miranda, his cousin.
Whereas Martin wants Miranda to marry his best friend.
Is it Cal or Kale?
Cal.
Cal. He wants him to marry his best friend, Cal.
Yes. And Miranda doesn't want to do that because they are not very compatible, kind of like Eddie and Lila.
Right? Whereas the rest of her family pretty much seemed to like him, at least at first.
Well, yeah, they liked him at first until they found out that he was married.
Yeah. And, like, here's the thing. There's this thing where there's, like, a pair of weird twins in this family reunion. So, like, they kept, because this movie was made in, 2007, they kept making a bunch of gay jokes.
Okay, the twins that you're talking about, he met them at the wedding.
Yeah, but they were also, I thought, part of this family thing.
Yeah.
They saw the family. They were, like, all on the same bus.
The twins were part of the wedding, first off. And then they showed up down in Mexico because they were on vacation with their dad.
Okay.
They didn't have anything to do with the family that, Miranda was a part of. They were just on the same tour bus, and they were talking to the family.
Okay.
And the family overheard them talking about Eddie as he was walking by.
Okay. That didn't seem like a super important correction, but okay.
Well, it's important for people who haven't seen it to know what's happening.
Blah, blah, blah.
It's important to get your facts straight when you're talking about this stuff.
It's minor details.
It's important enough as a plot point here.
Minor details.
It's literally one of the driving points of the movie.
Minor details, I said.
Minor my aching ass. It's why Miranda had sympathy for him and why there was a mistaken...
So the twins are on the bus, and they're talking after they were being homophobes and made him play 5 questions that ended with who's hotter, Brad Pitt or David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, they thought he was gay because he was single at the wedding.
Yeah. So anyway, his 5 questions thing ended up with him saying he's a widower and that his wife was killed by an ice pick, but they caught the killer, Ronald.
Yeah.
They relayed that information on the bus. And so then there's this, what Eddie calls a classic misunderstanding, where when she's like, I know about your wife, she's thinking she means his wife that got killed with an ice pick. And he's thinking she means his wife that's upstairs with a sunburn.
Ooh, yes.
And so
that's where the misunderstanding really takes a dark turn.
Yeah, so he's like, oh, you're the coolest chick ever. You totally understand this.
And he thinks, oh man, I'm getting away with this. This is great.
Right?
He's on cloud 9 right now.
And then there's this, like, scene at the end where they're all having, like, breakfast or brunch or whatever it is, and they come out and they start talking about, like, oh man, are you gonna come wherever? And, like, she's there, and they go, and she's like, who are they? Who's Miranda? And he gets caught in his web of lies.
Yeah, he gets caught in his web of lies once Martin and, what's his name? One of her other cousins. I don't even remember the guy.
Because he goes over there like, be cool. That's my wife. You know, the one that you know about. And they're like, what? The dead one? And he's like, wait, what? And then he realizes that he has really shat the bed.
Yeah, he doesn't understand why they're all riled up right now, because they think that he thinks that they know, and obviously they don't know. So Martin shoves a pepper up his nose, of course, because he's pissed about him cheating on his wife while trying to see Miranda.
Yeah, and then Ben Stiller is like real upset about this pepper. He spends I don't even know, the whole rest of the scene just pissing and moaning and whining about this pepper up his nose.
Well, that might have been a real pepper up his nose.
Yeah, men are babies. Try having a baby come out of your vagina. I say as somebody who's never had childbirth happen to them.
Yeah, maybe you should shut up about that.
I'm pretty sure it's worse than getting a pepper up your nose.
Well, it probably is, but I can't imagine getting a hot Mexican pepper up your nose is all sunshine and roses.
Can't imagine having a hot baby racing some poop to come out of your bottom.
Why are we making this comparison right now?
Because I don't know, it made me think about South Park talking about how poop is hot.
What?
And I'm I wonder if that's what childbirth is like. Is it like hot, out your vagina?
Why the hell are we talking about the Randy poop episode where he takes the biggest shit ever?
I don't know.
Why the hell are we talking?
They're both hot.
What? shit. Did you fall on your head, goddammit?
No!
Well, anyway, Miranda gets the fuck out of there, and she doesn't want anything to do with him, so that's about...
What?
I mean, there's no sugarcoating that. It's just a shitstorm of a situation.
Right.
Oh, I'm down here on my honeymoon with my wife, and guess what? I love you, and I haven't cheated on my wife. Or I haven't cheated on you by sleeping with my wife.
Right? And then he's coming back to his wife, and he's like, honey, I really think we should go our separate ways. And then she, like, is already upset about that. But then when it becomes clear that he's been, like, emotionally cheating on her for their entire honeymoon and lying about whether or not she's even been there when she's been in excruciating pain.
No, she burns all of his passports and clothes and shit.
She goes nuts and burns everything. And then he's stuck in Mexico. And apparently he's never heard of the U.S. Embassy.
Yeah, he doesn't even know that you can go to the U.S. Embassy and request some new papers. Like... This honestly, you know, it sucks, but it's not that big of a deal because it's not like someone stole your passport, dude. She burned it.
Yeah.
You can go to the embassy and get a new one, dude. It's okay.
Yeah. And like, I mean, the regular number might be a few weeks, like he's saying, but there's always expedited options. It's just whether or not you want to pay more. And based on the luxurious vacation you just had, it sounds like you're able to pay more.
Oh God,
you could have been out of there in like 3 days. You didn't have to sit and be like hanging out with that random guy who lives on the beach in a hammock.
He's just lazing on the beach for 2 weeks when he could have gone like the day one to the embassy and said, oh, I lost my passport. Can I get a new one, please, so I can go back into America?
Right? And like he's been on the beach long enough to grow a weird beard.
And then 2 weeks
annoy the guy that he was on the beach with.
2 weeks? This 2 weeks, he could have just been waiting for his passport and then gotten it and left.
Right? On a plane. Instead of how he did left, which was via Coyote.
He crossed the fucking border with a bunch of other Mexicans.
You mean with a bunch of Mexicans?
Well, with a bunch... Oh, I guess he's an honorary Mexican by this point.
Right? with a bunch of other undocumented people. That's what he is.
Well, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
A bunch of undocumented people.
And that's why that's a more fitting term. Hey!
Hey! Okay, you called it. So, yeah, there's really no reason for him to be doing this shit. He just could have gone to the embassy and he could have even waited a couple more weeks if he really just wanted to laze around on the beach for however long.
Right? Just extend your vacation.
What the fuck happened here? Did the movie makers just not do any research? Are they not aware that if you lose your passport while you're abroad, you go to the embassy and then you can get a new one?
I think what it is that some people only try one thing, and then when they're told something, they stop looking for solutions.
Oh.
So it's like when you're told, yeah, you can do this, but it's you know, it's going to take a month. They don't go, okay, but what if I pay more?
Oh my God.
Or, okay, but are you sure? Can I talk to somebody else? Where does it say that? Maybe make them look at it and verify the writing.
Well, sometimes I guess people just aren't big problem solvers, and that's how they get themselves in the situations where they're crossing the border.
Right? So he's crossing the border, but he sucks at it, right?
Oh, he's terrible. It takes him like 5 tries to get across the border.
And it was honestly, I mean, I don't know how well this scene aged, but like it was still one of the funniest parts of the movie.
Yeah, like one point he gets caught by these these fascist border crossing guys who aim their guns at him and slam the butt of the gun against him.
Right.
And another one is getting chased by a helicopter while Border Patrol finds him again.
Right.
And then, he crosses the border out of a truck another time, and then some cops swarm the area and arrest him.
Yep. It was funny.
And I think the final time he manages to cross the border successfully, and then he gets the shit kicked out of him by some hobos.
Oh, yeah. Because he's trying to hop a train. And we're both sitting here like, oh, don't do that.
Yeah, you don't want to get on the train with those guys.
The kind of people who are helping you get on the train are the kind of people who are going to take your stuff and rape you.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's not necessarily what happened, but into some spirit of that happened because they just kind of kicked the shit out of him and then threw his ass off the train.
They kicked the shit out of him, noticed he didn't even have anything worth stealing, And then they threw him off the train.
Yep. So, that's how Eddie got back to America. Sparkling job there. And he doesn't even shave before he goes to see Miranda again.
Why do you say it like that? He didn't even shower.
He didn't shower. He didn't shave.
He went over there looking full-on hobo.
He looked full-on hobo. He looked gross. Like, he just went to the door where her parents live in Martin. And, he just looked like shit. He just went there like everything was going to be hunky-dory.
And it's like, they don't just throw you back over the border when they catch you. You spend a day or two in detention first. So he's been, like, mixing with other people in, like, basically prison. And then also been crossing the desert for weeks with no shower.
He's just got to be just a thick stench of balls and ass sweat.
Oh, God. Balls in 120-degree heat.
Yeah.
Oh.
Part of me wonders if Miranda and Kale were really married or whether they just didn't want to let him in the house because they were afraid he was going to sit on something.
Oh, my God. Right? You need to leave. No, really. You need to leave.
Please leave. Oh, my God. You smell horrible, Eddie.
Wow.
Jesus.
Even his sex pest dad, when he's like, because he's like, Dad, drive me over there. He's like, are you sure you don't want to stop at home? Maybe shower, shave, put on some new clothes.
Yeah, he really should have listened to his dad. His dad had the right idea. His dad was trying to give him some friendly advice, like, son, I think you might want to, clean up a little bit. Son, wink, wink.
Put your best foot forward. Maybe don't go there full on 10 out of 10 on the crazy scale.
Nope, he decided to go there crazy. He went full crazy. He didn't dilute it. Nope. Pure uncut.
And he's like, he thinks he's being rational about it. He's like, no, look, Dad, I get that you're concerned about me, but I'm doing something that's really important. And meanwhile, his dad is like, okay, yeah, but if it's really important, don't you want to maximize your chances of success?
If it's really important, do you really want to smell like poop?
Right. How well were you wiping when you were running through the desert?
You smell like chimichanga shits, man.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
That's a best case scenario.
Yeah, I know. Oh man, he actually wakes up Miranda right next to her bed and scares the ever-loving shit out of her in the middle of the night.
Oh yes, okay, because it wasn't enough that he's like he showed up at like her family's house and like found out where she's going.
Yeah, they told him to get the fuck out of there because the popcorn was popped. Miranda got married, so if you love her, you will stay away from her.
Yeah. And I'm thinking at that point, like, okay, he's gonna go home and he's gonna shower. Because he's like, yeah, all right, I love her, I'll leave her alone. But then he's like, nope. He shows up, breaks into their house, sneaks in, and is like creeping up to the bed, still filthy. I'm surprised the smell isn't what woke her up.
I can't believe he didn't even take time to shower in the interim between when he visited that house and when he broke in.
Right? Like at that point, like you just said, he knows the popcorn is popped, so there's no rush. Trying to break up a marriage is going to take a little finesse. Not dirt.
It's going to take some doing to make that work, but, he goes through the spiel and that's the end of that.
He really thinks that after, 2 weeks in Cabo, that she loves him so deeply that she's going to see all that pass the layer of him having a wife and also having the entire desert encrusted to his body by poop.
What kind of relationship does he think they had while they were down in Cabo?
I don't know. He's a fantasizer.
Because they weren't that deeply connected. They didn't know each other like real deep or anything. She barely knows anything about him, and he barely knows anything about her.
Right?
And here he is next to her bedside, declaring his love for her while her husband is sleeping next to her, grabbing her titty.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was funny. Y'all do that when you sleep. It's funny. Yeah, it's just like she liked sports and he likes sports, and like she mentioned wanting to do whatever type of sport down there that he wanted to do that his wife doesn't want to do because she gets seasick. And like they smoked a joint on the beach together and thought they talked about some deep shit.
Yeah, the devil's lettuce, as Martin calls it.
And his family, except for Martin, likes her because he made one joke about a nickname that her grandpa or
her father
has.
Boo, who's named Buford.
Yes, so he's like, why don't you get called Bew? And then they made him a license plate that said Bew because they think he's hilarious, and he likes that because it's an ego boost.
All right, now's the point where we're going to go into our Amazon reviews. As always, we've chosen 3 5-star reviews and 3 1-star reviews, and we begin with the 5-star reviews. Our first 5-star review comes from Punk Rock Reptile, who says, all the people who gave this movie a bad review have no sense of humor. I bet everyone who rated this badly have the personality of a wet paper bag. LOL. This movie is definitely funny, and is worth more than what Amazon is selling it for. Buy it.
That was aggressive as hell.
I know. It's delightful when people are so aggressively approving of their movies. And our next,
I don't even know what to do with that.
Our next one comes from A. Pedicino, who says, great. Laugh out loud, funny movie. My boyfriend and I still say love, love, love to each other after seeing it together. Because that's what Eddie says to both Lila and his second wife after he breaks the news that he wants to talk to them later about something.
That's some dark humor that couple has.
And they ask, good news or bad news? And he says, well, at first might sting a little, you might flinch, but in the end, great stuff.
Yep.
And our last 5-star review comes from A. Raphael, who says, top shelf comedy.
This movie is dancing right along the edge of hilarious, and I can't believe they just did that. If you have an awkward feeling about anything sexual and need to turn the light off before getting naked, this is not for you. If you like irreverence and satirical portrayal of stereotypes, you'll laugh tears.
What's satire?
Right? They're just using words. Also, what does it have to do with turning the light off before you get naked? Anyway, if you live in the Bible Belt and feel offended, then you are the reason for that particular stereotype, and probably won't enjoy it. Ben and Jerry Stiller at their best. Only 4 people found that helpful, and that's 4 too many.
Yeah, well, that wasn't helpful at all. That was just dumb. So congrats and thanks for that.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, God.
let's go on to our 1-star reviews now and see who concurs with, me. I think you like this movie better than I do.
It's not even that I like it. It's just, every time you suggest a movie, I'm afraid it's going to be the worst thing I've ever seen to date.
That's how I do it.
It's like crossing an old bridge that's way out of date. It's a gamble every time.
Our first 1-star review comes from Real Love, who says, just plain awful. I felt totally slimed after watching this. I kept cringing and just thinking about how it is making me feel icky. Why is Ben Stiller the same in everything he does? These characters are repulsive and the acting is too slow. The shock value of the Farrelly brothers is just a cheap and dirty trick.
Fair.
So I feel like I should have known better, but nonetheless, this movie is completely degrading towards women, sex, and not actually a satiric depiction of dating. Just gross.
This is a disgrace to the depiction of sex?
Yes.
Wow. I've never heard that before, but I have to agree.
Yeah, it was terrible. I mean, who fucks like this? Who asked for like corkscrews and shit right with the first time they bang?
That's what's weird. It's like how
what?
You clearly, I'm trying to think how to word it. You clearly have had sex before. So why were you two so weird about not banging before you got married? Like, you've clearly had just a bus station of dicks coming through.
So
to want to get fucked like that.
Yeah, I don't know what the hang up was. I guess she didn't want to scare him off. I don't fucking know.
Right? But then you're going to scare him off when you ask to be pile drived immediately in the bedroom the first time you have sex.
And that's about the point where they realize, oh, we have no sexual chemistry. Good job.
Right? So you should have known that before you tied the knot.
All right. So our next review comes from Mamie, who says, 1 hour, 56 minutes, and $7.50 I will never get back.
I was mad about the length, I will say that.
I love Ben Stiller. I think he's very funny. I expected some potty humor. I expected some uncomfortable, for me, jokes about sex. I thought it would be something like So I Married an Axe Murderer. I had no idea this would be as cringe-inducing as Adam Sandler's 8 Crazy Nights.
Oh,
It is all the It has all the body functions of 8 Crazy Nights and the discomfort of Ben Stiller's stupid. Is he trying to say? God, this person can't write for shit.
Stupid charters action.
Characters' actions from Meet the Parents without the humor of the latter. The trailer is much funnier and charming than the movie. I believe that a lot of movies that we saw back then had better trailers than movies.
Oh yeah. Meet the Parents I actually really like. That's a
everybody likes Meet the Parents, man.
Yeah, Meet the Parents is hilarious. It's funnier than this movie, but it's that same like mix of comedy and drama.
Yeah.
Except I think Meet the Parents knew better that it was more of a drama.
Well, yeah, Meet the Parents worked.
Yeah.
And our last
Andy got the girl.
Our last 1-star review comes from Nigel, who says there's something about making me sick to my stomach.
I kept waiting for something funny or even amusing to happen. What I got after 35 minutes or so was disturbing at best and misogynistic at worst. Thank goodness I didn't make it far enough to see the bestiality part. Thank you, 1-star reviewer, for helping me avoid that particular scene. Do not waste even 1 minute of your time on this. The actors I like, but I can only imagine they are mortified to have been involved in a piece of crap like this. Oh, and I really like Something About Mary, by the way. What?
Well, there's Something About Mary is a Farrelly Brothers movie.
I mean, I know, but it's irrelevant. And I got that you liked it by your Something About Mary pun in your title.
Yeah.
You weird reviewer.
What about it? It was insightful, I guess. I don't know.
It is not. That review was all over the map.
It was terrible. These reviews are terrible. Thank you. Amazon reviews, everybody. Thank you.
All we learned from that last one is that person might be stalking Cameron Diaz.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I guess whatever he wants to do in his free time, okay.
What?
I kid. No,
How do you even transition that?
Well, what do we learn from this movie, do you think?
I learned old, horny men will talk to their sons about how they're not horny enough.
I learned I would rather tag team a girl with my dad than go get married to some chick that I've only dated for 6 weeks.
Right. Oh, God. I learned when your married friends are trying to get you to get married, it's just because misery loves company.
I learned that I can definitely cheat on my spouse on my honeymoon if I just play my cards right.
Oh, yeah, because multiple movies have said so.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've learned that as long as you get your job at a vacation destination, you're quote-unquote perma-vacationing.
I learned if I spray some mineral oil on myself that I'll get savage.
Oh, my God.
No good?
I learned that young, strange children on the beach will come and gather your whole family reunion to go look at the whatever the hell was coming up on the beach. Manatees or something. Beach penguins.
I learned that if I really want to make it south of the border, I gotta bribe Mexicans with porno tapes.
Yeah, why was it a VHS?
Is that what that's what they got down there? I don't know.
I mean, maybe.
I don't know. Maybe it's just like what he had available.
I don't know.
Who cares?
I know streaming's not the same down there.
Oh, really?
Like even at like the resorts where they can probably, if they wanted to, try and get extra bandwidth, they've got like plaques in the hotels that are like, streaming isn't the same down here as up there. Please be patient.
Ah.
So like when you try and watch it like a show, like a streaming show, you're better off downloading it and then watching it.
Okay. Well,
But that doesn't mean you got to go all the way back to VHS.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't have a DVD player.
Maybe. Come on, Uncle Tito, invest in a DVD player.
Well, if people would start tipping him, maybe he would.
Watch your porn in HD.
Those things cost a lot of
You
pesos.
stop trying to put your dick in people's wives' hands, you might get tipped better. Why does Eddie just forgive him for that?
I don't know, because anything goes with this guy.
Right? He's like, the guy calls him out like, well, I saw you here with another lady, so I thought just anything goes with you. And the guy's like, well, fine. And Eddie just walks away like, touche. But then later on, when he's perma-vacationing, he hires Uncle Tito to work for him. Like, you didn't have to hire the guy that just molests random women in the hotel.
Yeah, I don't think he really gave a shit about Lila, and that's why.
Clearly. But it's the principle of the thing. He still put his dick in a lady's hand.
Anything goes with this guy!
Oh my god!
Yeah!
Uncle Tito's kind of rapey.
Anything goes! Oh, yeah, he is, a little bit. Jesus Christ. Life lessons from the Heartbreak Kid, everyone. We learned a lot from this movie, actually. Well, it took away some good lessons from this one. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, so what's your final rating for the Heartbreak Kid?
One discreetly wrapped brown paper package of porn. A round of shots from an old couple. And one really, really, really bad sunburn.
I give this movie one jellyfish on my back,
Ooh.
a deviated septum with some steak in it, and last but not least, a second much hotter wife.
Oh, yes. Eva Longoria.
Yeah.
Eva Longoria.
Yeah, she was pretty hot. Yeah, she still is pretty hot, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, so this movie was all right. I would say go ahead and watch it because you'll have some fun with it. It's not as fun as some of the other ones we watched. Like I think I might have had more fun with Just Friends, despite like the rabid misogyny in that one.
Yeah, we'll agree to disagree on that. I definitely had more fun with this one.
All right, fair enough.
But
Also, this one is longer than some of the other movies too, because this one is almost 2 hours long.
yeah, that's the only thing I really didn't like about it. I think they could have chopped it down to an hour and a half. I say that about most movies that are over an hour and a half.
Yeah, they really didn't need to. This didn't need to be fucking 2 hours. It's too long.
Yeah, just because it can be 2 hours doesn't mean it
should be. No. So like I say, you'll have some fun with it. It's a pretty decent movie. It's okay.
I always enjoy seeing ladies in physical comedy roles because I don't think we see enough of that. So, like, there's this scene where they're biking down and she's the one who hits the trash can and flips over. And then obviously she's the one that has the horrible sunburn and doesn't look sexy for the movie. So that I liked.
It was cool to see her doing that stuff. I just wish that she had more of a part in it.
Yeah, they should have leaned into that.
I thought the shittiest thing was that Lila, after being in the beginning of the movie, just isn't really in the movie all that much.
But yeah, like, they don't even show her, like, and they show her doing nutty things. They should have at least shown her burning everything.
Yeah.
That would have been great. You
I
got
can't
2
believe
hours and you couldn't have shown that.
I cannot believe that they took something as dramatic and pivotal as that and didn't show her burning like his passport and his clothes. Like, why did they show her going off because Eddie was breaking up with her?
Right? It's not like this is like a low-budget student film. This is a Farrelly Brothers film. Like, you definitely had the budget to do a little fire scene if you wanted to.
Yeah, they could have done it easily.
You had the budget
and
to
they
hire
didn't.
stunt people.
Instead, they just tell us and it sucks.
Yeah, that's the trick that you use when you can't afford to, or when you're doing a stage play and you can't work that.
Yeah, if you can't just fit it into the play, you do a little exposition and then
Right?
everything's fixed, done.
But that was a wild bit that they really should have had in
Oh,
there.
it would have been so funny. It would have been so funny.
It would have been a moment for her to shine, too, because she was really funny in a comedy role.
And they didn't give her all that much to work with, and it kind of sucked.
Mm-mm.
Anyway, that's my big complaint. She kind of just disappears from the movie, and it's really lame.
Yeah.
Like, I wish you would have been lingering around making things hard for Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she could have been an antagonist,
Yes. Like, I wish he'd have been, like, instead of just knowing that she's going to be trapped in her bathroom all day, she should have been, like, suspicious of him and following them around. And then, like, she could have confronted him And he could have tried to pull like, oh no, she's a business person that is my biggest supplier. She'd have been like, well then why were you drinking together with her family at a wedding? And why were you about to kiss until this person walked up on you? Like,
yeah, the movie would have been a lot better for it.
it would have been a driving, it would have had that anxiety bit that like drives those kind of secret plots.
I would have liked the movie a lot better if they had done more with her.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't, so it is what it is. Anyway, guys, be sure you join us next episode for Joe Dirt.
Yes! I'm particularly excited about this one.
Yeah, it's going to be good because I've never actually seen Joe Dirt in its entirety before. I've seen bits and pieces, but never the whole thing.
I loved this movie as a kid. Not necessarily because it was really appropriate or because I liked everything in it. There are parts of it that I don't like, and there are parts that are kind of forgettable, but there's a lot of iconic scenes in this.
Okay, well, we'll be sure to check those out, and if you want to follow along with us, go ahead and check it out on your own time. Find it someplace. I don't think it's streaming anywhere right now, but if you can find a copy, go ahead and watch it.
Yep.
Because that's what we're doing next time, and then we actually have another movie scheduled pretty soon after that. We're going to watch Moon Over Parador right after that, so if you want to watch those two, go ahead.
That one's also a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, both are going to be a lot of fun, I think. I can't speak for Joe Dirt, but Moon Over Parador is going to be awesome.
Joe Dirt, I'll speak for Joe Dirt. Joe Dirt is, if you like redneck trash movies like me, you're going to love it.
Well, you liked Without a Paddle too, and Without a Paddle sucked.
Without a Paddle is hilarious.
Without a Paddle is terrible.
Without a Paddle is funny. Get over yourself.
It was just good enough to be boring.
Good Lord. I'm sorry you've got no sense of humor. You don't like poor kid candy. You don't like trash humor. You don't like trash TV. Why are you with me?
I don't know anymore.
I'm a trash panda.
Put me in the trash. The trash man. Well, be sure you check out our Twitter at Case of Movie. I like to tweet about the various things that we watch on there a lot. And if you want to follow Astrid, you can follow her at her personal account at Angry Astrid, where she just likes to shitpost a lot. And honestly, so do I, because I do most of the same kind of shit posting on my own personal account at Soulkeever.
You dare say we do the same kind of shit posting?
Well, we do.
Shit posting is incoherent.
Well, we just do shit posting stuff.
You talk about lunch.
I do. I love lunch. Lunch is godly.
Shut up.
All right. Well, it's about time for us to head out, guys. So be sure to check us out on social media and be sure to watch those two movies before our next review. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. We'll be back very soon. Until then, with love from us to you. Bye-bye.
Bye.